there's a look at one of the many entrances to Queen's Park Station. And note the spelling of Queen's Park with the possessive apostrophe S. And hey there, today is Friday, June 13th. It is 10:46 a.m. It's a rather early one for me, and the temperature is about 14 degrees Celsius. And that is College Street. And just to the south of College is University Avenue. And to the north is Queen's Park. And there's a street sign indicating Queen's Park. And note the apostrophe S on Queen's Park. And there's another sign right here, a much bigger sign, stating Queen's Park. And in this one, I'll head north through Queen's Park. And we'll be doing some exploring of the various street signs along the way. As I have a feeling they are all not spelt with that apostrophe S for some reason. But just to set this one up, south of College is University Avenue. And this stretch north of College, just for about a block or so, is Queen's Park. That's the name of the street. And then it turns into a crescent. So on the right side is Queen's Park Crescent East, and on the left side is Queen's Park Crescent West. And that's because it bends around the Legislative Assembly building, which is straight ahead, as well as the public park on the other side. And then north of the park, up to Bloor Street, it is just Queen's Park again. But I swear I have seen it spelled differently on various walks I've taken through the area, so I'm going to explore that. What I'll do is I'll swing by the different intersections on the way and we'll see how Queen's Park has been spelled. And straight ahead is the newly restored and refurbished, I'll let this guy go first, statue of Sir John A. Macdonald, the country's first Prime Minister. That was defaced back in 2020. And the province had it under wraps for quite a while, and they recently re-unveiled it. And apparently there's extra security measures in place.
Like a news agency or something?
I run a YouTube channel.
Oh yeah?
I'm just making a video on Queen's Park.
Okay, cool.
It's one thing that's kind of interesting is they spell Queen's Park differently in all the street signs. Sometimes it has an apostrophe S, sometimes it doesn't. So I'm just kind of making a goofy video talking about that. And they put this plaque in front. Yeah.
Is it on film?
Yeah.
Okay, can I just ask that you don't film like any employees of the legislature?
Oh, I'm just gonna make a right at that walkway and go straight to the, no worries. There you can see it was opened by King Edward VII on a royal tour in 1860. I was talking to him earlier, just before I started recording. I came to check out the statue, as I heard there were added security measures in place. And he advised me that there were, but I asked him what they were, and he just kind of shrugged, so I'm guessing it's just the added police presence in the area. Like a lot of characters in Canada's past, their history can be somewhat controversial. I think Sir John A. Macdonald played a role in the residential school system. So despite being one of the great figures of our past, there's still controversy surrounding him. I think it's the right decision to restore the statue and keep it there. It's all part of our history. And interestingly enough, this land was granted to the province from the University of Toronto, which surrounds Queen's Park, on a 999-year lease for the whopping cost of $1. And this is kind of the Ontario or Canadian equivalent to a US state capitol building. And if you check Google Maps, as we get a neat view of one Bloor West starting to rise, but if you check Google Maps, Queen's Park Crescent here is spelled differently on either side. Queen's Park Crescent East, which is the right side, has the possessive apostrophe on it, but the west side does not. That's kind of strange. I've also heard this referred to as Queen's Park Circle, and I think it's even been listed on a few old maps like that before. There's a sign indicating Queen's Park, 2 minutes to the left. This street here is Grosvenor or Grosvenor, depending on who you ask. And this is what I'm talking about. Queen's Park, Crescent East, but no apostrophe. Now, to be clear, I'm not saying the city needs to rectify this. I guess if you had OCD, you might take that stance, but I think it would be a silly waste of money to make new signs just to address or fix something that's really more of a curiosity. I mean, that would be about as silly as renaming Young Dundas Square. We all know what a colossal waste of time, effort, resources, and money that is. On the right here we have the Whitney Block. This was built in 1926. It's currently an Ontario government building. There's a whole provincial office complex right over there, and that houses the Ministry of Transportation. It's a Gothic style building, but the main tower, I believe, is not occupied. It is not up to fire code standards, but it's still home to some government offices. It was named after James P. Whitney, and at one point in time there was even a bowling alley under there, and that connects it to Queen's Park, or rather the Provincial Legislative Assembly. This whole area is referred to as Queen's Park. Although you could be talking about the road or the park or the Legislative Assembly. And coming up is Wellesley Street. And we'll see how Queen's Park is written on the signs that I approach it from Wellesley. I'm also curious if the sign on the north end at Avenue Road and Bloor Street matches the one at College and Queen's Park, because I don't think it does. All right, so if you were a driver approaching, you would see that sign, Queen's Park, no apostrophe S. Over there, the main sign does have an apostrophe S. What's up with that? Those are University of Toronto buildings there. Queen's Park, Crescent East. And they abbreviated Crescent slightly differently. Oops. On the main sign there as well, the CR is small. It's a case of the left hand doesn't know what the right one is doing. But we can take a look at how the City of Toronto lists the name of the park itself, which is a very nice tree-covered park. And it features an equestrian statue of King Edward VII in the middle. There you go, they've got the apostrophe S. And the backside of the Provincial Legislative Assembly. All right, we'll cut through the park a little bit and we can take a look at that statue. Welcome to Queen's Park.
Whoa.
So apparently the province of Ontario's naming conventions omit apostrophes from geographic names for consistency and mapping standards. However, this is a city-run park, not a provincial one. And it looks like an encampment has sprung up over there. Or maybe that's more of a protest. It says Kill Bill 5 on it. That's a bill that kills a lot of environmental protections in place. It's very common to see protesting at this park. There's the statue of King Edward VII. originally standing in Edward Park in Delhi, India. May 24th, 1969. All right, there's another street here that connects to Queen's Park. This one is St. Joseph. It's turning out to be a beautiful day. And I don't see any street signs facing Queen's Park. So if you were driving from St. Joseph heading this way, you'd really have no way of knowing, based on the signs at least, that you're at Queen's Park. There's a small sign there that says St. Joseph Street. There's one there, Queen's Park Crescent East. This one they have periods to abbreviate Crescent and East. And that one has the apostrophe S. That's an older style street sign we're looking at. If I'm not mistaken, it's the City of Toronto's Transportation Services that looks after the street signs. They replace damaged or missing signs, they install new signs as well. And I think they manage all the heritage or bilingual signage. But obviously, when a new guy takes on a project, he doesn't really look to see what the last guy was doing. And this is all really just an excuse to explore around the area. There's Victoria University. Most of the University of Toronto is to the west of Queen's Park, but Victoria University, or Victoria College as a lot of people call it, and as it was originally called, is just over there. And one recent addition is a new entrance to the subway. And on the north end sits Museum Station. And last time I was in the area, the entrances just north of here on Queen's Park were closed. And only this one was open. And this one only recently opened. But we've got some more street signs to investigate. Over here is Hoskin, which runs through the U of T campus, and it turns into Harvard Street once you get west of St. George. So this is Queen's Park, Crescent West coming up. All right, let's cross the street here. And how do the signs appear on this side? Queen's Park Crescent W. So they do have the apostrophe. The abbreviation's different. Instead of a small CR, they write CRES and then a big W. So it's completely different from what we've seen. They've got the apostrophe in there. And we'll head up around this last bit of Queen's Park Crescent West. And we'll connect back onto Queen's Park. That sign has the apostrophe S. So it seems to be just the street itself where the city is confused. I think there's no confusion on the name of the park. There's the Jackman Law Building on the left. I love looking at One Bloor West Rise. It's quite dominant at the north end of the skyline. And I'll look south into the park itself. Traffic must yield to cyclists. Well, there should be a bike lane here, but due to this construction work going on, it has been temporarily removed. On the right. And you can see the entrance to the station here is closed as part of the construction work to make Museum Station accessible. So they're installing elevator access, but unfortunately, you now have to go south all the way into the park. To access the station, but that is some much needed work that should have happened a long time ago. And now we're at Charles Street. Let's see how Queen's Park is written on this sign. All bets are off if there's an apostrophe or not. Hey, it's an older style sign. It has that apostrophe S. You almost have to wonder if this is some kind of inside joke. The city employees keep going and there's nobody actually auditing or overseeing their work. There's the Royal Ontario Museum. And the Gardner Ceramics Museum coming up on the right. So north of Bloor Street here, the street becomes the oddly named Avenue Road. Which sounds silly, but apparently in the UK there's a number of avenue roads. Which is it, an avenue or a road? I don't even think the average person could tell you the difference. But down at College and Queen's Park, the sign was written, I'm trying to remember here, as Queen's Park, all in capitals, no apostrophe, or no, with an apostrophe, but no abbreviation. And on this end, I knew that wasn't my memory fucking with me. And I guess I could have cheated and just looked on Google Street View. But Queen's Park, no apostrophe with a PK. And the local sign here, no apostrophe. What?
No.
It's the 7 millionth variation. Like, how hard is it to get a street name right? Unless the city names this northern stretch Queen's Park without the apostrophe S, and the southern stretch south of the Crescent with the apostrophe, but even then some of their signs spell it both ways on this side as well. That's just kind of funny. I like this view to the south with the CN Tower. Off in the distance. There's the Church of the Redeemer. Just snapping a few pictures of that. But there you go. What an odd tour this was. As we look east along Bloor Street, I'm gonna make my way, I don't know why I crossed back over the St. George station. And there's another video I want to do, and I think it's gonna start from the same place where I started this one from. Now we're on the Avenue Road side of the intersection. Since I gotta walk to the station anyways, I'll leave the camera rolling until we get there. Bloor Street a few days ago. Here's a look at the museum with One Bloor West rising in the background. But I look forward to reading your thoughts and comments down below. And again, I'm not saying the city has to waste any money to fix that signage issue. It's really more of an interesting curiosity. It's one of those things that just kind of fucks with me because I'm like, how is that spelled? I've had to type it out a few times and I think my brain flip-flops on adding the apostrophe or not. And I know I've seen it written both ways. And what's interesting is Queen's Quay doesn't have the apostrophe. That's a street that runs along the lakeshore. It's the Queen's Park, but that one is the Queens of Many Quay, I guess. I was starting to doubt my choice of wearing shorts and a t-shirt this morning, but the weather seems to be working out. Anyways, this is Bedford Road. There's an entrance to the station right there. I'm just gonna cross here because why the hell not? But I hope you enjoyed it. Do let me know your thoughts and comments down below if you wish to support what I do. There's links on my Patreon and YouTube channel membership down in the description. I've got an Instagram account at Johnny Strides, and there is a super thanks button appearing down below if you wish to say thanks that way. Anywho, I'm gonna step into the station. Hope you enjoyed it. And I have a kind of similarly themed video coming up, but it's gonna be more of a point A to point B kind of walk. Anyways, thank you for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Yoink.